back to the Mas Futbol Podcast, the number one soccer podcast here in Oklahoma City. I am your host, Ricardo Ulloa, and we are back with another episode. It's been such a long time, but we're back at it, and I'm not here by myself today because I do have a guest. My guest here with me, I would say a specialist with youth training. My guy, my friend here, Cesar. Cesar, how are you today?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. I appreciate you for coming. I'm going to be the first guest bringing back the podcast, so no pressure, right?
Oh, man. Okay, we'll see.
Cesar, for the people that might not know you, can you please introduce yourself and tell me a little bit about what you do?
Yes, my name is Cesar Egas. I was born and raised in Peru. That's where I learned to play soccer. I moved to the United States when I was 18, and I've been in Oklahoma ever since then. So it's been 20 years now.
20 years?
Yeah, I'm a little older than I look.
Yeah?
So during the day, I am a realtor with Spaces Real Estate. I'm also a general contractor. And during the evenings, I'm a soccer dad and a soccer coach. I'm happily married. I have 2 boys. They're 4 and 2. I'm the program director of Mini Allies, which is part of Soccer Allies and also part of Allies Sport at Score OKC. I'm a academy coach at Edmond Soccer Club and head soccer coach of the varsity girls team at Crossings Christian School.
Wow, that's a lot. It's a lot.
It is a lot.
How long have you been involved with soccer? So your whole life then, correct?
Pretty much my whole life, yeah. In Peru, it's just part of the culture.
Mm-hmm.
I actually started kind of late. I started when I was 9.
Okay.
So it took me. Most of my friends started like when they were 5, 6, when they start school. So I was like the worst player, and it took me a lot of training just to get there. But yeah, I mean, yes, I'm very competitive by nature and very driven. So just doing extra training every day on top of the regular training. So finally catch up with everyone else, and I was able to enjoy the game more.
Playing in a club, playing in the programs? Or?
Yes, so in Peru, like I said, you start playing in the streets with your friends in the parks, and then eventually I started to get better in my position, which was a goalie. Like in Peru, when you suck at soccer,
You're the goalie?
you are the goalie.
Okay.
So they put me over there. Luckily, I was doing martial arts since I was a little kid. Okay. So my reflexes were pretty good. Okay. So I started to, I was blocking shots and everything. And then I was just trying to get better on my own because I've been like that since I was a kid. And I was getting really good at it. And
like being a goalie?
Yeah. I was a really good goalie. By the time I was in middle school, I was the best goalie in my school.
Wow.
And then, local clubs started to notice, and they started inviting me to their teams and finally start training. Then by the end of middle school, when I was starting high school, that's when I realized I'm not getting any taller, and the goals were getting bigger.
Yes, they were.
So I better start in a different position.
Okay.
So, like I said, I've always been in sports since I was a kid. My dad he was in the Navy, so he kept me in good shape. Yeah, I was doing a lot of swimming and running, and so I was very fast. I was also doing track and cross country. So I switched from goalie to defender. Like again, the new position. I started working on my own to get better, and they start moving into wing, then to forward, then to midfielder. And basically, I just play in every position. And by the time I got here, that was my position, playing midfielder. Yeah.
Was soccer what brought you from Peru?
No, really. There was some sort of political situation in Peru, and my dad decided to just move to the United States just for safety, and yeah, I did my last high school year here. So in Peru it's different because you only have like up to 11th grade.
Okay.
So that allowed me to do 12th grade here. And it was weird because I was already like almost had like a year in between. And so I did my last year at Edmond North.
Okay.
And it was interesting. Yeah,
I can't imagine you coming already as almost an adult and then coming in as a senior in high school.
Yeah, it was weird, but
change of cultures and
yes, everything was kind of weird, new to me. I was like, oh man, I'm going back to school, but it was good. I made a lot of friends over there. That was a year that Edmond North became state champions.
Okay.
And unluckily, because of my age, so it was weird because I was like, okay, at least I'm gonna go get to play soccer. That's nice. So the first 6 months I was just focusing on studying and learning English and everything. And then when it was soccer season, did a tryout. There's like a lot of kids, like probably like 100 kids.
No way.
And I made it to the varsity team. And I was like, man, this is it. This is going to be the 6 best months, I'm going to get to play finally. And then the coach came and was like, well, I have bad news.
No way.
Yeah, it's like, you can't play because of your age. I don't know what was.
Were you older?
Yeah, I was like, I was 19. So it was like something weird. Like they couldn't let me play. And he invited me. He's like, but you're really good. We want you to keep training with us. I think that would be good for the team. So I started training. I just kept training with them. But it was hard, training and not being able to play. And at that time, I didn't have that many friends. So most of my friends were like other kids from Peru, some kids from Mexico, a Colombian guy. And so at the end of the week, we'll always go to the soccer fields at Edmond just to challenge them. We will challenge the 5, 6 best varsity teams. And they were all freshmen and juniors and sophomores. They were like in the JV. And we'll go over there and we'll beat them. And it's like, and that would just make me more upset that I couldn't play.
Yeah, you couldn't face them on the field.
Yes. So, but I still training. I like playing soccer. So I just kept training until one point I was like, man, I need to play soccer like a game. It's like, what's the point of training if I'm not playing? And I start asking around, and they told me about the Mexican League and the Western. And it's like, okay. So I just drove all the way over there to the Western. And I was like, man, what is this? Just to see, because I wanted to play in the team. And I just went over there, like all weird, like a kid, like start asking every team, hey, do you guys need an extra player?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like they look at me, and I was young, skinny, and I'm very short. It's like, no, we're good. So I was like asking. It's like, okay. So I just kept asking until one of the teams asked, they look at me, it's like, where are you from? You're not from here. It's like, oh, I'm from Peru. It's like, okay. Well, you can try out if you want, and you come to the training, and we'll let you know if we can play with us. That was Tigres at that time. And so I went, practiced with them. It's like, okay, sign me up. And it was weird because in Peru, like usually you don't have to pay. Like they pay for a subscription and everything. So it's like, well, it's going to be this much. It's like, well, I'm just a kid who just going to high school. It's like, I didn't even have a job. But it's okay, we'll cover. And ever since then, I was like playing with Tigres. And they moved from different teams. But I played probably until I was 24. And I really, really injured my ankle on the fields.
There?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it took like 3 months, 4 months to recover. Went back and then re-injured it.
Oh, man.
And at that point, it's like, okay, I can't do this, because I had to miss work and stuff. And I was like, okay, I have to take a break. But me being competitive, I needed to do something. I can just work and not do anything. So I started doing martial arts again. So that's when I started training jiu-jitsu, judo, boxing, kickboxing. And I did that for like 7 years. And so I took a little break from soccer.
You completely just put it in the back.
Because it's like...
You can't go halfway. You're not going to go in a little bit. You got to go in all the way.
Yeah. I'm like that. Like if I learn something new, I like to really put time to get better. So I was committed with jiu-jitsu and martial arts. And so I took like probably like 4 or 5 years of no soccer until I couldn't take it anymore. I need to play soccer. It's like I missed it.
Yeah, it was calling.
Yeah, it was calling. And then I started doing both, But and that's what it is. I was playing soccer, doing martial arts, and pretty much until I got married. And then everything a little bit changed.
Yeah.
I had to decide, okay, either this is soccer or martial arts. I can't do both. And I opted for soccer. So I was just playing with friends, Mexican League still, until probably my first son was born. That's kind of like when I stopped playing. And I will still play like with some friends, pick up games and stuff, sometimes indoor, but not like Western.
Not a full 18 seasons. 18
no,
games
it just takes so much time. It's like 2 hours of game. Then you gotta kind of prepare. So it's 1 hour
to get there.
Get there, prepare, and then you usually hang out with your friends after. So it's like 4 hours, like a whole weekend, a whole
and then
day.
if you're playing, you don't want to be bad. You're probably practicing during the week.
Yes. You gotta. So it's like.
It's a commitment.
Yeah, it's a commitment in a way. So I was like, I can't do this, and I kind of took a little break too, of like 2 years, and until I kind of like decided to become a soccer coach.
2 years ago?
No, actually, I started 2 years after my son was born. So he was born in 2018. So I started to look into becoming a soccer coach in 2020.
2020. Wow, it hasn't been that long.
It hasn't been that long, but like I said, once I get to know something or want to do something, I just go all out. It's like go big or go home.
What a thing to start doing too is coaching, right?
The what?
I said, and you picked a great thing to do is to start coaching too.
Yes, yeah. My son is the one who inspired me to become a coach. When in 2020,
it's in the middle of the pandemic.
So for the moment, my son was born. I knew I was like, I want my kid to play soccer.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like soccer helped me through my whole life. Thanks to soccer, I made so many friends. That's how I met you. Mm-hmm. That's how I met everyone pretty much in Oklahoma through soccer. And I wanted that for him. And so I will just bring him, I actually started to play because of him. I was like, well, because at that time I was kind of like leaving. I was like, I want to play with him at least, like, when he's a little younger, or I want him to see me playing.
Yeah.
So I started playing. It was bad. I had to get back in shape. But yeah, I'll pick up. I joined a indoor team, and I start bringing him. Tell my wife to bring him, and then when he started walking, he kind of like picked it up and he started like playing with soccer ball, and I was like, okay. Honestly, it's like I didn't think I was gonna have to worry about until he was 4.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, man, what should I do? It's like, I'm not gonna train him at 2 or 1. I mean, actually, he was like 10 months. Like, I'm not gonna train him at 10 months. So I need to figure it out. I mean, it's like, maybe he was born for soccer. I don't know. I don't know anything. It was weird for me. It was a surprise, And so I started. Okay, maybe I need to figure it out. Maybe get some coaching experience just to kind of help him. And that's where I started to volunteer when he was 2. I volunteered with Mario Godinez, actually. I was his assistant for 1 season. He had a team of boys, teenagers, like I think it was U18, U19, the Optimist on Norway's 50th. And I kind of like, I realized like, well, after the season, I was like, man, it's time consuming.
It's probably more time. Well, it's just about the same if you're playing, but yes.
That's another thing. I couldn't play It's like, okay, my wife's like, either you play or you coach. You can't be doing both. And okay, so I just, since I had a commitment with Mario, I just stick with for the whole season. And after the season, I was like, well, I'm not sure if I like to be a coach. It's a lot of time consuming. I miss playing soccer, honestly. So I kind of like, okay, I just left it at that. And at that time, I was working a lot near Stillwater. So I was driving back and forward a lot over there. And, you know, being over there, going so much to Stillwater, I thought that maybe it would be a good idea to move over there because I'm working over there. And it was during the pandemic, like the end of the 2020. And it's like, yeah, everything is closed in Oklahoma City anyway. So it's like not missing anything. So I started looking around, but it's like there was my son. There's like, well, if I move to Stillwater, is there even soccer in here? Because Stillwater is a little town. You know, there's OSU, but that's it. And I started asking around friends that went to OSU. They didn't know anything about over there. I started joining some Stillwater groups, asking around until I finally found a group. It's like, yeah, there's a group that meets every Saturday morning and plays soccer, pick a game. It's like, that's it? It's like, yeah, that's it. So I decided to one day, since I will work over there from Monday to Friday, I stay one Friday night and, you know, to go Saturday morning to play. And that's what I meant. I went over there to play with the Stillwater people. And, you know, playing over there, I asked some of the people, hey, is there any soccer academies here? Oh, there's one. Only one? Yeah, that's the only one. Is it any good? Well, it's not as big as the ones in Oklahoma City. It's like, okay, are the kids good? They're all right, but there's one kid that was really good, and he just moved to Sporting Kansas. It's like, oh, really? What's his name? That was Rocas. And it's like, oh, okay, and who's his dad? It's like, he's here? Like, no, he plays usually, but he's out of town. So it's like, okay.
He would go to the pickup games?
So, yeah, he'll go to the pickup games.
The ones they would do on Friday afternoons?
Saturday mornings. Yes. So, okay, so I was curious about this guy. And so that's when I started going to the pickup games every Saturday. Till he came back to Oklahoma and you start playing. And I introduced myself. We start talking, you know, and he was the one who convinced me to become a soccer coach. He's like,
really?
Yes, he's like, I asked him a lot about his son, Rocas, and his experience as a soccer dad. And, you know,
congratulations on Rocas ended up winning the league.
know, right? Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I feel so happy for them. And yeah, he just basically told me, look, if you really want to help your kid achieve his full potential, whatever it is, you know, if he goes pro, college, whatever, I will advise you to be a soccer coach and coach him.
Was he a soccer coach?
No, he was not a soccer coach. I think he came here he's an athlete. It's like, I think he was like, I don't want to say, but he's older and he's in really good shape. I think he played in the Olympics. I mean, he
really participated?
He's a long distance runner. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, that's how. But so he's an athlete. So it's like, but he played really good soccer. So he helped his son a lot, and he's the one who basically convinced me. Told me, look, you know, there's some good coaches. There's not so good coaches. There's some coaches that know what they're doing. Some coaches that don't know what they're doing. So my advice will be for you to become a coach. You know the game. I mean, nobody's going to care about your kid more than you. And, you know, even if you just personally train him, you're still going to know what coaches are looking for. And we had a lot of conversations. And it's like, eventually it's like, okay, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to become a coach. So at that time, I decided to stay in Oklahoma City and not move to Stillwater. My wife is she's a child development expert. She's been in child development for like over 20 years. She used to be the director of Tony Reyes Child Development Center, and at that time it was like rated like I think it was like top 2 in the state. So she helped me a lot. So I had that soccer knowledge. She had the child development knowledge. So we started to create something for the kids. And
just experimenting with your own kids at
experimenting.
home.
But just
But
I mean, I myself started to do some research about child development, coaching, and human psychology and behavior. It's kind of like to figure out things, to understand more.
Yeah.
Also to be a better dad. And so we talked with TV. I think she was in charge of Norway's Optimist, and we tried to put some sort of kids programs, kind of like little kickers, soccer shots, but a little more with a better soccer, in their foundation. So we created a little program, and some of the kids they joined over there. Like it was from 2 to 4 years old. And
such a hard age to
really hard age.
Get kids to sit down.
Oh yeah, yes.
Get attention for more than 10 seconds.
Yes. So yeah, that required a lot. So at that point, we decided that the best thing to do wasn't to really teach the kids, but to teach the parents how to teach the kids.
Okay.
So we'll work with the parents and a lot, and we did that for a few months over there, and then eventually just decided to do it on my own. A lot of the kids follow me, and that's what I've been coaching them. And there's some kids that I've been coaching since they were 2, and now they're like 6. Well, actually, there were 3. Yeah, my boy is 4 now, and there was a few that there were 3, and there's 5 that are already joining the academy. So it's really good. It's nice to see them they barely.
When they can barely kick a ball.
Exactly, and now
they were picking up a ball with their hands.
Yeah, and now they're little ballers over there.
I've seen some videos. They pass it from one side to the other. They hold. They dribble. They have a notion for the game.
Yeah, it's really it's amazing, and seeing them, I don't know how far they'll go. I mean, it's very interesting, and that's how I kind of like. So I started coaching because of my son, but now I kind of really enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
I did it because I really wanted to be helpful for my son, and also to save money. Those private coaching they're expensive. And but now I started to enjoy it. I saw more kids joining and coaching them and improving, and the parents always super thankful, and it's like, okay, this is nice, and I like doing this, and I've been starting to pick up more coaching gigs, and it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I guess you will be coaching your son in Edmond then, since you have, is it the 2018s? Is that what you had said?
They are 2018s, yes.
Nice.
Yeah, I will be coaching him and pretty much all the kids I've been coaching since they were 2.
Oh, really? So they've all stuck with you then?
They are all stuck in, and they are from all over the place. There are kids from Mustang, Yukon, Oklahoma City, Cashion, Oklahoma, which is maybe like an hour.
Yeah, when does that start?
That starts in August.
In August?
Yeah, those kids. Edmond Soccer Club is gonna do, for the first time, is gonna do a pre-academy. Usually, the 2018s wouldn't start until next year, but they want the kids to have a little head start. Just to have a little advantage
before pre-K. So this is the same thing.
Yeah, just to have a little advantage by the time they actually open it to all the 2018s. I mean, this kid way ahead. Yeah. So yeah, that's something new that they're doing at Edmond Soccer Club, and I'm glad I will be able to coach him. Yeah, and yeah, I'll see how it goes. I mean,
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So, like, what do you do for a kid that's 4 or 5? How do you structure a practice for them? Because what you do for them isn't the same that what you do for a 6, 7-year-old or a 10-year-old. Like, how do you even introduce a game to a kid like that?
So the first thing you gotta do is let's make it fun. I mean, it's not fun, they're not gonna have that interest.
Before you start, let me restart this camera because it turns off every 30.
Yeah. So at that age, the first thing that you wanna do is just make it fun. Because if it's not fun, they're not gonna want to do it. Another thing is like, so while I was starting into coaching, with help with my wife, I started to read some child development books, and also came across one interesting book from I would say it's kind of famous coach in Asia. He's actually American, but he became pro and played in Japan, and he stayed in Japan. His name is Tom Bayer, and he did his own research with professors and other coaches and professional soccer players, and he realized that soccer starts at home. So that the influence of the parents is the major role of the kid. So the parents by default are the first coaches of the kids,
first teachers, first mentors.
They'll learn everything from the parents. They're their role model. So basically they say that during the first years, one thing that he noticed in his research is that kids needs to work with ball mastering. Like forget a little bit about kicking and everything. Instead of like teaching them to kick the ball, you have to teach them how to control the ball. So he recommends little size 1 balls, and that's what I was using with the 2 and 3 years old. Just ball mastering. I will teach the parents how to do the exercises, TikToks, Toto, to just play around, and obviously encourage them to not use their hands, only their feet, like just 5 minutes every day. So at that age, I do work a lot with the parents, basically. It's like, okay, and I added a lot of things like that I learned, in the past couple of years, like the new methodology that the U.S. Federation is implementing, the play, practice, play, and
play, practice, play.
Yes, they so it's very interesting. The play, practice, play is just so in 2018 when the United States lost and couldn't make it to the World Cup. The U.S. Soccer Federation took a lot of criticism, so they needed to restructure things, and that's so they start doing a quick research. Okay, what does these countries like France, Brazil, Argentina, South American countries, some European countries like Netherlands, and what do they have? And it's like, well, they have a lot of free play. They play in the streets, they play with their friends. So they started to, and that develops their soccer IQ. And yeah, United States is known for being fast and strong, but let's be honest, they don't have any creativity, and the technical aspect is very lacking. So they decided to create this methodology of play, practice, play, which is focused on a lot of free play and a lot of game scenarios,
situational.
Yes, all situational. Instead of doing the old school like
drills
dribble,
and cones.
Instead of doing like all dribble between cones. Okay, you're gonna dribble 1v1. Those kind of things. So they kind of like thought it through. They wanted to develop the thing that I see with play, practice, play is that they focusing a lot in developing that soccer IQ. They don't want the coaches to tell them what to do. They want the kids to figure it out. Obviously, the coaches will guide them through the process. Like asking guided questions or positive reinforcement.
Pausing the game and saying, what could you have done different?
Yes.
What do you see here? How are you reading it? What options do you have? And then asking, why did you do that?
Yeah.
And then it's probably, I've seen it whenever kids stop and they look and they said, well, I don't know. It's like, I don't know why I did that.
Yeah, that's the whole idea. They want to develop that soccer IQs, you know, so they can be smarter players when they grow up. And it's fine. I use a lot of that. I also implement some old school, you know, like because I did. I mean, you still learn, you know, doing some drills, you know, like agility drills and stuff like that, you know. I mean, yes, you probably will have more repetitions, you know, if you do a specific passing drill over and over and over. And like me, like coming also from a martial art background, that's basically what you do. You don't
repetition.
Yeah, if you're just like thinking, okay, if we wouldn't do something like play, and implement it in martial arts, oh my God, you'll get beat up. You'll basically be fighting the whole. I think that's gonna be good. So it has to be some sort of repetition, and then
mastery.
Also. So my way of coaching is kind of like a mix between practice, soccer start at home, and you know that old school kind of repetition. So it's like that's what I think. You know, it's been working with the kids, with the little ones. Obviously, you want to keep it fun. You want to keep them on their toes the whole time. You don't want to have that many lines.
Yes.
They can't wait.
No,
they cause trouble. So that's another thing. And you want the parents to be involved. You know, I always send them a little homework. It's like, hey, you know, practice, you know, these touches at least 5 minutes every day. You know, it doesn't have to be like an hour. You know, it's like 5 minutes every day. You know,
over time.
Over time.
Makes a difference.
That the ball control. You know, buy these little size 1 balls, and you have to just do, you know, ball mastering and handling skills barefoot.
And if you can make it seem like it's a game, where they're playing, but it's really practice, but they're really playing, practice, play. Even better, right?
Yes, I'll kick the ball with your kids. You know, like I encourage the parents a lot to work with the kids. That's what I noticed that makes a big difference. You know, the kids, the progress of the kids. And the other thing is like, I tell the parents like, look, because I have parents, you know, that they bring their kids, and the kids don't want to do it, and I was like, man. And they're like, well, I don't think that's a sport. Well, just give it a little longer, you know. It's like he's not participating. It's okay. Even you're just sitting with him, he's there observing. You know, eventually you can push him a little bit, you know. And but I don't know. I mean, and these are parents that, you know, like they really play soccer, but they don't want to be pushy because maybe they had parents that were pushy. Myself,
I feel like you're talking about me right now.
No,
but yeah.
No, there's some, like, I mean, you are not alone. There's just a lot of parents that are like that. It's like, man, you know, it's like,
I don't want to force him to play it and then end up not liking it, and then end up being worse just because, you know, you're trying to live your dream through your kid. No, it's not like that. I just really love the sport, and I would love for my son to love it, but I can't force you to love it either.
Yeah, you can't force it. You can't really force it. That's my that's why when the parents bring the kids, I tell them, look, do not remove them. Just because he doesn't want to go and do it, don't take him home. Just stay over there for a whole hour, sit with him.
I made a commitment.
Make a commitment. Tell them, you know, and eventually, you know, I usually like let's say for the group I have, if a new kid comes, I usually tell the other kids, hey, go play with him, you know. I tell them like little tips, like, you know, your kid's shy, you know, the practice is starting at 6:30, bring him like at 6:15. I'm already over there at 6, you know, saying everything, you know, like I send my son or some of the other kids, hey, say hi to that boy, you know, bring him, you know, make him feel welcome, you know. And
the other thing that soccer teaches, the values, you know, meeting kids, making friends, losing, winning.
Yeah, social skills. That's very important for the kids. I mean, to learn, you know, they learn that. I mean, that they become friends, you know, at such a young age. And you can tell, like, you know, like, you just can tell, like the kids I have, their social skills, you know, you know, they learn to be polite. They you know, I always say, hey, high five your friend, you know, he has scored, you know, it's like, you know, they help each other. When they get, they fall to the floor, it's like, hey, are you okay? Hey, tell him, hey, check, are you okay? It's like, are you okay? It's like, yeah. So yeah, social skills, I mean, is very important at that age too. So it's a lot of very kind of like holistic. It's not just that technical aspect, but it's about the behavior and their social skills and the personalities. And like there's some kids that, man, the attention span is like non-existent. So those kids, you gotta like keep them on their toes. Like, okay, redirect their attention. If they're getting distracted, you just move to a different drill. There's some kids that they are they get distracted, but not because their attention span is non-existent, but because they're a little,
they're maybe
mischievous. Those that need a little more tough love, and there are kids that are like shy. They just don't want to do it, and those you have to be a little more welcoming to them. So I always tell the kids, look, yes, just bring. I'm always tell the parents to just bring the kids, but they don't want to play. It's like, well, just stay over there. It's like I always tell them this, like, look, you are the dad. And honestly, the kid doesn't know any better. You know what's best for your kid. No me, no your cousin, no your uncle, no your dad, no grandpa. You are the dad. You are the mom. So let's put a scenario. If your kid tells you, I do not want to eat my, protein and, meat and veggies. I just want to eat candy. Would you allow him to do that?
Of course not.
No, of course not. Then why would you not allow him to play soccer? Yeah. Just because he doesn't want to play, I mean, the soccer is going to be good for them, Yeah, you don't want to be like a tiger dad, training him at home. It's like, no. But you still want him to, okay, you got to play, I had like parents like telling me, man, it's like kids for a whole 6 months, they didn't even went into the field. And now you see them, they are little ballers, like almost to the level of my son. There are kids that will just stand over there on the field and move. It's like, well, he's not doing anything. That obviously drives the parents crazy. The ones that play soccer, like, he's not even moving. It's okay, he'll move. Eventually he'll move. The ball will touch their feet eventually, and he'll do something. So you just time. You just. I mean, I think any kid can play soccer, especially they're like that young. I mean, they don't know any better. And once they start becoming friends, with these other kids that are in the same group, they'll like it. They like it.
They'll start feeding off each other.
Yes, they start feeding to each other. I mean, they play playful, and they start like becoming friends, and they like to, they're waiting the whole week, to see their friends and wanting to play again. And like I said, and that's where the whole practice play with. Still, there's some structure, but have them, okay. Even though it's funny, it's like, okay, so they're 4 years old, and it's like, okay, guys, you're gonna pick teams now. You're gonna be the captains. It's like, what's the captains? Like, you get to pick the teams. So you're gonna get to play rock paper scissors and pick the teams. How do you play rock paper scissors? I had to teach them, and they learn. And they learn. I mean, they learn. They take forever because they keep doing the same. Scissors, rock, paper. It's funny. But then once they get it, they start picking teams. Okay. All right. Okay. You guys decide. I mean, at that point, they already kind of know
what's coming next. And
what's coming next. What's the positions. Explain the basic things that they do. Defender, midfielder, forward. Like, okay, you guys decide. And I made them decide. So I made them kind of like, damn. I give them the little rules, and they do the game.
Use their critical thinking. You guys figure it out.
Yeah. Yes. Obviously, in academy is a little different, But pre-academy, I think that's mostly what they want them to just do something with the ball, basically. Even if even they're not playing, okay, let's back up a little bit. Okay, let's just work at home, in a safe environment with your dad, with your mom. Just ball handling, you do that, mom, you do it with a kid, and eventually they pick it up. The kids pick it up, pick everything so fast, It's like one of the things I learned reading child development is like kids, like humans, develop 90% of the brain in the first 5 years.
That's why they say those first 5 years are so important.
So important, so important. It's to the point that, like, you're talking about 90% of the brain is developed but by the time they are 5. By the time they are 5, the kids already develop their personality, their behavior, So let's say if, you raised them correctly and you did a good, decent job, and your kids are a good boy or girl by 5, you're gonna have an easier job the rest of the years.
Mm-hmm.
If for whatever reason, your kid ended up by the time they are 5, a little troublemaker, maybe not
the best kid.
Not the best kid, then trust me, it's gonna be very difficult to correct that behavior. And that's just studies that a lot of experts had. So I mean, my wife explained this to me. I researched on my own, and it's like so it's very, very important. That's why I like on the, for example, Soccer Start at Home methodology. They encourage you, just have them play soccer as early as possible because of the same idea that the kids develop their brain, 90% of their brain by the time they're 5. So the earlier you have them play, the much better, the more they're gonna absorb. And they make interesting examples I didn't know, like for example like Mozart, the musician, everyone says he's a genius, but what a lot of people don't know is that by the time, like, so a lot of back in the days, like, musicians will come out when they were like 15, 16. He had him practice. The dad had him practice until, from very young age. So by the time he was 15, he was already ahead of everyone.
He had the experience of a 20, 30-year-old by all the time he had put in.
Yeah, so it looks like he was a genius, but no, it's like he's made. And there was I don't remember the name. There was another world champion chess player that, for whatever reason, the dad was like, you know what, I'm gonna raise my daughter to be the best chess player, and that's what he did, and that's what she is. So, but they have to start at a really young age. He researched, he asked professional players, and he noticed that all these players like Neymar, Ronaldinho, Messi, Beckham, Zidane, they all started at the house in the living room, just playing, but before they even start school. And that's what makes a big difference. So by the time they are 6, they already have the ball control. So just translate it, when they start playing like games, scrimmages and free plays, they're already ahead of the other boys. So they are better players. That means they become more popular, not like me that they pick at last. and they'll enjoy more, because they're better at it. And that's also like kind of like the idea behind soccer allies, mini allies, for the players to stay longer in the game, like help them mold these skills so they can become better players. And once they become better players, they're going to enjoy the game more. If they enjoy the game more, they're going to stay in the game longer.
They're not going to quit when they turn 10 or 11.
Yes, because, let's be honest, even with us as an adult, yes, we do try new things. What's our default? We keep playing soccer.
Coming back, doesn't it?
Yeah, we go back to play soccer. Like, nobody really likes to do something that you suck at it. No,
there's nothing else that we know more in this world than soccer, I guess you can say.
Yeah. And it's the same with people that just do basketball. They try soccer, they suck at it. It's like, I'm going to stick with basketball. The kids are the same. The better they get, the more confident they feel, the more fun they're going to have. Yeah. But yeah, that's a lot of things that I learned. It's short. I've been coaching for only 3 years, but I did a lot. I went like really intense into coaching. Like I said, that's my mentality. Go big, go home.
Yeah, there you go.
So I was like, okay, I need to figure out all these things. That's why I started. Like, I took courses and got my D license, and and pretty soon probably get my C license, so I can just keep educating myself, so I can become a better coach.
Well, I'm excited to see what you're gonna end up doing, to be honest with you.
Well, we'll see how it happens. I never really thought I would enjoy coaching so much.
Yeah.
yeah, like I said, I all started because of my son, and now I'm really enjoying it. Helping all the kids, get better and falling in love with the sport. That's really awesome. Yeah.
It's different. It's a different coaching as to playing. It's totally different.
Oh yes, it's very very different. One of the things that really kind of like get me is when some parents tell me, "Man, I wish I like parents that they play soccer." It's like, man, I wish I would have a coach like you, someone like so passionate and like.
It's the best compliment you can get, huh?
Yes, and it's like, man, you're gonna make me cry, man. What are you talking about? It's like, yeah, man, I didn't have a coach like so, like nobody really. I mean, it's hard to coach little kids, Not a lot of people like to do that.
Mm-hmm. You need patience for that. You need a good understanding, and I guess you have that. And then with your wife giving you all the secrets, no, not the secrets, but the tips and tricks. Yeah, it's coming together.
Yeah, it's hopefully, like I said, I had plans before I became a coach. I'll see how that works, but we'll see how it goes. Honestly, I enjoy coaching.
We'll see what God's plan is, right?
Yeah. I mean, I like, for example, I heard you mention this, that you're excited, looking really for that World Cup that's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Same with me. I'm like saving my money,
Yeah, your kid is going to be 7, 8 years old.
Yeah.
They're going to be able to understand the game a little bit different, and then to share that experience with your kid. Yeah,
that's the main thing that I wanted for my kid. It's like, what, I want them to love soccer as much as I do, so we can have a strong bond, so we can have something. I mean, it's tough when parents and kids don't have the same interests,
mm-hmm.
I mean, so that's one of the things I wanted, for my first son. My second son is easier because he grew up seeing me coaching, and
his son,
he's older brother. He's like, I didn't even have to do anything. He's just like wanted to kick the ball right away. It's like, okay, and it's the same thing. It's just like, it's in the personalities are different.
Mm-hmm.
My older son is very shy. The other one is completely outgoing.
That's what they say about the second child. The second child's always more outgoing. They're more fearless, as opposed to the first one, who is like a little scared to do things at first, but once they do it, it starts becoming easier. But the second one sees the first one do it, and they're jumping.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. It's like I didn't have this gray hair before I had my second son.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
like,
funny.
It's a little.
How old is your second son?
2 years.
2 years.
And he wants to do everything that the 4-year-old wants to do. So it's like, no, you can't do that.
No, that's funny.
Yeah, it's very dangerous stuff.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. My kids are maybe 16 months apart. So my daughter is 4 and my son is 5. So yeah, they are, and they look like twins because my little girl is just a little bit bigger.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, they dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very. So they're pretty much the same age. Ours, my kids. Yeah, that's awesome.
What are your plans for the summer? Is it Mini Allies that's going to be running the summer?
Yes. So Mini Allies every Mondays from 6 to 7.
6 to 7 on Mondays.
Yeah, on Mondays at Score KC.
How much is it? Is it per session? Do we pay
It's
for
per
the summer?
session. Yeah, you can play. You can drop in and just play for the session. There's no contracts or anything like that. And at the same time that you have, so Mini Allies is for 4 to 6-year-olds.
Okay.
And at the same time that Mini Allies is happening, we have Soccer Allies, the next field. Those are for 7 to 12 years old.
Who the director is? Stage, right?
Yeah, the director is Stage. Yeah, and they have awesome. I have helped Soccer Allies too. It's pretty cool. All the kids that they have over there, but they have Mondays and Wednesday. They have twice a week over there. And then we have also, they started Football Allies. Yeah, so they also the same like principle, but they're
American football.
American football.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So they wanted to really. So it
Encompass.
started. Yeah, So it started as Soccer Allies, and then then added the football, and then they want to add other sports. Like they want to do it like a big.
Well, at that complex, it worked amazingly at that complex.
Yeah, that complex with the basketball and volleyball fields. Yeah, they want to do it over there. So yeah, so we have a camp summer camp on from June 19 to 22nd.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna have a camp over there.
Mini and the regular soccer allies?
Mini allies and soccer allies. Yes, you can find all the information on soccerallies.com. But yeah, that's gonna be my summer. Like this summer, I'm trying to. This year has been so busy.
Well, you just got done with high school.
Yes,
and then summer starts. And then after summer ends, your Edmond Soccer starts.
Yes.
And then in the fall, high school kicks up again. So it's all year, isn't it?
It's all year, and this year has been very hard. So like I was still working Stillwater.
Mm-hmm.
So like every morning I've been going to Stillwater.
Really? From the city? Oh my goodness.
So I'll have to wake up at 6, be over there by 7 or 8, then come back to Edmond to coach crossings, and then drive an hour to Norman because I used to be a Celtic coach.
That's right.
So it's like my day was so stressful and long. So this summer I'm trying to just work on the house, try to
be a little bit more efficient.
A little less real estate, and a little more, just enjoy the coaching and figure out about the coaching. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna be my summer, basically mostly coaching, not going to Stillwater.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and then like you said, in August we start Edmond Soccer Club. Yeah.
Nice. How did your high school season go this past season?
Much better than I expected.
Yeah. Was this your first year?
This was my first year as head coach. Last year I was assistant coach.
Mm-hmm.
And so last year a lot of seniors graduated. Like I think 7 or 8.
That's a whole team.
Yes. So we in the beginning of the season we struggled with the numbers. We barely had, I think we had 12 players.
Wow.
And so I remember one time 2 players couldn't make it. So we had to play
with 9.
We had to play with 10 players, and I was like, oh my God. And then I had players cramping and getting injured. Like, oh man. So but luckily, the parents help a lot. The players, they help a lot. So we were able to recruit more players, and we ended up, we did better than I expected. We went to the playoffs, and we lost on that first round, but at least that kind of like set the tone for next.
The standard for next year.
Yeah. So now there's like, I guess. There are more players that they didn't play middle school. So crossings have a high school and a middle school, and they in middle school have their own team too. So the middle school usually feed to the high school. And yeah, this at the end of the high school year, I noticed there were some parents like, well, you know what, my daughter didn't play middle school, but she's really looking forward to play high school with you. So there's some hidden kids that play. They know how to play soccer. Hopefully next year they're going to be joining, and it's going to be better.
Yeah. It sounds like there's an opportunity there for a system to be
it's
implemented.
Yeah, it's a little difficult because compared to other schools, it's such a small school, so a lot of the players...
Is it 3A?
It's a 3A, so a lot of the players, they do multiple sports.
And
so
at the beginning of the season, it's probably tough because if you have basketball players, they can't play until their season's done.
Yes, exactly. Like our goalie, she was a basketball player, so she didn't start until like districts. And there's like players like that, and then there's also, being a small school, you don't have a big pool of players. Like, for example, from my team, only like 30% know how to play soccer. Another 30% is like rec, have played some soccer. Another 30% have never kicked the ball before.
So it's tough to have a practice.
Tough. Yes, it's very, very tough to. But
I understand that. I went to a small school, so I understand that there are soccer players. There's people that play soccer, and then there's people that have never played before in their life, and it's just such a hosh-posh of. But sometimes it's fun when it all starts clicking.
It's fun. Like in this case, for example, like the practice plays fit. Yeah, so in this kind of environment, the practice play works perfect because it's a lot of free play, a lot of free scenarios. Yeah, because if I do it like how I do my academy training, it would be very hard because it will either, if I do it to the level of the club players, the other ones are not gonna
get left behind. They won't learn.
And if I do it to their level, then
the ones get frustrated.
They don't get challenged enough. So the practice play worked really good in this kind of environment because a lot of scrimmages and scenarios, and they kind of like they learn about the game basically as they practice a little bit. But yeah, it's definitely been challenging. Yeah, like I said, I don't have any daughters. So for me, like all girls, and then at Celtic I had all girls. It was a little
different,
challenging at the beginning. It's like, oh, okay, with boys you can be a little tougher. You can tease them a little bit. Girls, I mean, they're a little more sensitive. Sometimes you have to treat them a little different. Motivate them a little different.
That's what I heard is you have to almost. Well, this is from Juan, who I had on the podcast. He would explain it too, where you almost have to build their confidence up, make them believe they can do it, as opposed to sometimes with the guys, he would almost have to bring them down a little bit. Like, you're not that good.
Yes.
You have to work a little bit harder.
Yes. You have to be a little more. You have to to the boys. You have to give them a little more tough love. Like maybe apply a little more discipline and just bring it down to earth. Like, no, not good. You still need to work hard. Yeah, for the girls, it's the opposite. You gotta like motivate them, to work hard. It's a little different, yeah. But I'm learning, so it was definitely a really, really good experience. Yeah.
Sounds like you're gonna go back next year then.
To crossing? Yes, I'm gonna go back next year. Like I said, I'm really looking forward to see how much I can make it grow.
How did you find time to do that and work in Stillwater?
It's hard. Yeah, a lot of support from my wife, and that's why this summer I wanna kind of like reevaluate some things. I wanna like maybe like I'm not doing the Stillwater during the summer, and I'm toning down the real estate stuff. I wanna like see the coaching aspect, to see, and there's maybe looking into other opportunities to maybe some other part-time jobs kind of like help me, to help me provide for my family other than coaching. But it's definitely very rewarding. I never thought I was gonna enjoy it so much. And that's why I started to like, I really like this.
It's funny how you said it's only been 3 years, but now it sounds like you're like neck deep into the coaching.
Yes, it's a lot of
go big or go home, like you said. Yeah. That's gonna be the title of the podcast: Go Big or Go Home.
Nice, yeah, that's a nice title. But yeah, and there's and that's also what I tell my players. You gotta put, you have to play every game. You have to play. You have to practice.
It's almost like
as there's no tomorrow.
That's what I was gonna say. You gotta do everything like you're not gonna get another chance to do it.
Yes, exactly. Again. Yeah, you have to. You don't want the least thing you want is to have regrets.
Yes.
It's like, man, if I wouldn't train a little bit more, or if I wouldn't run a little bit more during that game, you don't want to have that feeling.
And you do that with everything, huh?
Yeah. It's definitely You gave everything. 110%.
You can be happy with that.
Yeah,
if you lose,
if you lose,
content with that.
Yeah, you can learn, and improve. But the worst thing is like when you didn't give your 100%, and then you feel like that weird feeling, regret.
It's a disgusting feeling, isn't it? It almost feels nasty just talking about it.
Yeah, sometimes myself, and sometimes I play soccer, and it's like I know I didn't give my 100%, and I lose that game. You can't wait until the next week to play. It's like weird. It's like
it's like just to shake it off.
Just to shake it off. Yes, it's like, man, I need to play another game.
Yeah, just let me shake this bad game off. Yeah, no, I totally understand that. Yeah, that's why it's hard to play, because I don't like to play terribly. If I'm gonna do something, I have to do it good. I don't want to go out there and be the reason we lost or just be terrible. I have standards, that we have to keep up with.
Yes, and everyone picks up. It only takes one, one player to
change everything.
Yeah. I mean, if I could tell like so at the beginning of the season, um, we didn't have that many players. We only had like 12 players, and some of them never played before, and I don't even know if they play sports, so it was difficult. But then after the first couple months, we were able to recruit more players who actually play other sports. So they were athletes. I mean, they didn't play soccer, but they were athletes. So the energy was
there.
They were competitive. So they were like run, even though they would run. They were like be competitive, and that just changed the dynamic in the whole group. Like it made everyone play harder, even the ones who never played sports before. It's like, okay, I need to run more. I need to practice more. So yeah, it definitely just takes one player, who bring that energy to give that 100%, and everyone will look at like, man, he's trying so hard. You better like, you don't want to
let them down.
Yes. You want to help them. And like, so it's definitely. I mean, I always tell my players to always try their hardest. Doesn't matter the result, but they got to try their hardest.
Is there anyone in the city that you see as a coach that you're just like, that guy does it correctly? I kind of want to do it like that.
There's a lot of coaches I learn from. I usually like to observe different coaches' styles. Particularly a specific coach, I wouldn't say no, but there's like some coaches that look like learn a little bit like Evan, Rafa. I mean, he's been coaching for quite some time.
He has a big program under him too.
Yeah, Ryan Trutch from Celtics. I mean, I've been observing him a lot. But yeah, it's like I have met a lot of coaches this past 3 years, but I can see, okay, I like what he's doing, so I might
take a little bit from that.
Yeah, a little bit from him, a little bit from there. This one, I'm not sure. So I like to take a little bit for everyone, and like I say, every coach has their own style, their own personality. For me, I really like to work with little kids because I think that's
early development.
The early development,
it's a pillar,
that's the foundation.
The
Yes, that's the foundation. I mean, even if like you are setting the foundation for these kids, at 4, 5, 6 before they start academy. After that, okay, it's all yours.
I was talking to this with someone, and it's funny how certain teachers that go into education pick their age group because for whatever reason, whether it's early development, middle school, high school, college, and it should be the same for coaches. Coaches that specialize in early development that would be able to pass on players for the club level or for when they start. And then, it's good to have people that specialize in certain age groups because they are all different.
Yeah, they're all different. Yeah, like a lot of, I think a lot of academies, they actually encourage, even the ones that are coaching at competitive, like 13 and up, they really encourage them to go to academy. Back down so you can.
They might not want to.
They might not want to. Yeah, some of them, they don't really like some.
It might seem like it's a downgrade, after coaching a team that just won state or just won nationals or something like that. But I can see why it would benefit them as well.
Yeah, I think it keep them because so it's so different. Once they're coaching competitive, even the dynamic. When I'm coaching high school, you have to be a little more competitive. It's more competitive.
Especially because you only get them for 6 months.
Yeah, so you have to be like on the go, training them, and you're in there to win. Honestly.
Yeah, you're not there to build players.
Yeah, so you can't
teach
really
them how
build players.
To play.
Yeah, and little ones is a little different. You have to make it fun. It's like it's just
more so about the development. Yes. We don't care if we win or lose. I just want to make sure that you guys have fun
and you try your hardest and you learn. They're developing into players. But yeah, it's. I think it's good. I mean, now that I have trained all the ages, basically. I can see. It's fun to see because So now you like so. I have girls that play club, uh, and, and even top teams, and crossings, and you can see, like you can kind of project, like, man, this girl is this to this level, but she's still lacking maybe these few things, which during high school you can't really teach them that much. You can. It's the way I see it. It's kind of like academy will be, or competitive. It's kind of like if we talk about like an example, it will be like a club, like Barcelona, Real Madrid, and the high school will be like a national team. You just get what you get,
and you work with it.
We will work with it in that short time.
That's true.
You can't really implement. I think you can't really implement
a philosophy.
Yes.
I mean, you could try to get a style, but you're really working with what you have.
If you get like a half of like 6 defensive players, what are you gonna do? You're not gonna play with 3 defenders, 4 defenders. You have to maybe 4 and then maybe 2 holding mids. know, so it's you have to work with what you got, but the thing that I notice is like in competitive, you can see some things that, okay, maybe these players, I guess, never learn how to move without the ball, or maybe never learn how to
check his shoulder.
Yes, all those little things they should have been learning like earlier. And then you see the little ones in academy, like 8, 9, 4, 6. It's like, man, 9, how are they gonna play when they're their age?
Yes.
So that's very interesting. Like, you can project, and you can also see, okay, so
I know exactly what you're saying.
So coaching older kids allows me to, okay, so this is very important.
See what's wrong with them, and then
kind of like, okay, this kid never learned how to use the left foot, or never learned how to check your shoulders. Okay, this is something that they need to learn.
Write this down. Yes, I'm gonna teach my 4-year-old to check his shoulder, and
he's learning. It's funny, yeah. Like, it's funny because you'll see my so my son is 4. Most of their team is 5. They're 5, and this is the only team that you see when they're playing in their age division. They ask for the ball. They open their hands, like, ball, and start calling pass. Things they learn to talk. They know already. If I tell them spread out, you're too close, they spread out. Things that, like.
That's some high school, man.
High school, yeah. It's like, so it allows me, honestly, to be a better coach. And I think, like, you work the opposite way too, because sometimes you're so stuck with competitive, and obviously your focus is a lot. I mean, yes, your focus should be developing, but at that age, you're looking into a lot of winning. But when you start coaching little ones, it's almost like more relaxed. Like, it's not about winning.
The pressure's not there.
Yes, you relax. It's fun. It's like, so you kind of remember how fun it is just to play without that pressure. So I think it helps like coaches to really coach different ages. I think it's very interesting. I think it makes you a better coach to just be able to coach all ages.
I think so too.
Yeah.
You ever wonder, like, wow, what would you have been if you had a coach like yourself for you?
Man, I don't know.
I always like the saying, be the adult you wish you would have had when you were a kid. Like, can you imagine?
Yeah, me growing up. So for one, my dad wasn't really...
He didn't play soccer?
He didn't play soccer. He was in the military, but he didn't really care for soccer. So, and like in Peru, you have to play soccer or you're left out.
Really?
Yeah, so that's why I start playing at 9. So I have no choice.
Yeah.
They'll pick me at the end, so I became the goalie.
It's crazy how you started playing at 9, but your kid is calling for the ball already at 4.
So yeah, I don't know how it's going to play when he's 9. All these boys I'm coaching right now that are 5 and 6, it's like, I don't know how they're going to be when they're 9.
Yeah.
They're like way better. And it's interesting. Like for me, I like, obviously, if my dad wasn't supporting me, into the sport, I had to I start watching videos of goalies, I would pick some really good goalies back in the days, the one that would look a lot was Chilabert. I don't know you ever heard of him. He used to be the captain of the Paraguayan.
Okay.
He's a crazy dude. And man, it's like I like watch the games, observe how will he dive, and I will like literally go wake up myself 5 a.m, drag my younger brother with me. He hated it. I would drag him at 5 a.m, go to the park and train for an hour before I go to school.
Really?
And that's when I was younger. And that's how I was. I'm very driven. Like I don't like to be the worst player. I don't like to be the worst at anything. And once I was in middle school and I was transitioning from goalie to player, same thing. I was like, I will just train. I will just grab my ball and take it everywhere. I will like dribble from the house to the park, from the park to the school. Even if I will go upstairs and downstairs to the classrooms, I will not. I mean, I will be like sitting, having the ball with me, between my feet.
Tapping in between.
It's like just 24/7 with the ball until I got better at dribbling, and eventually, once by the time I was 14, I was decent, a little bit getting above average, and that's when I got picked by other academies, and I was able to join futsal teams and play for city and districts and stuff like that. But at the beginning it's like it's all me. It's just I have to self-teach myself. Like I would pick, okay, I'm gonna play left back. Let me see who is the best left back at this time. It's like at that time was Roberto Carlos. It's like, okay, man, okay, I can play like that. Okay, he's doing this. Okay. The same thing, center back, midfielder. I look for midfield. I look back then was Zidane. Now like kind of like imitate. Okay, he's doing a roulette here. Okay, I would like try to my best when I was little. Yeah, because at that age, I didn't have the chance to have a coach until I was later. Middle
you were
school.
Your own coach.
Yeah, I had to like self-teach myself. And then try it. Sometimes I would. One of the things I will do is like I used to love those Nike commercials, and I will see some crazy trick. It's like, okay, let me see if I can learn it. So I will learn it and then try it in the game, and that's how I learn. Honestly, that's how I learned. I mean, so which is in a way kind of how they do in the practice play. They are learning on their own. Like you don't tell them exactly what they're supposed to be doing. You let them. Like decide if they should be passing, should they be dribbling? If they're dribbling, what should they be doing? You don't really teach them in the practice play. You don't really teach them specific skills. Now,
you're not really going in there to influence. You're going to build upon what they are doing by themselves.
Yes. Now, Soccer Allies is a little different. They actually teach you the proper technique and they teach you how to learn about how to do scissors properly and shift your weight. So I implement a lot of everything that into my practice. It depends of the group, depends of the personalities. What I have, but it's very definitely coaching different ages and even having different influences. Like the soccer start at home, practice plays, like more agility, dribbling drills. Like Soccer Allies actually helped me become just a better coach, and I can help I think the kids better. But it's all about the main focus is for them to just love the sport, get better, and they'll love it. The better they get, the more they're gonna enjoy it. For the little ones, it's more okay, I need to work with the parents. I have to send them a little bit homework.
It has to be from home.
It's like that's the soccer start at home.
That's the big difference maker.
I will go even the extra mile, and it's like, well, my boy's just not interested in soccer. What should I do? It's like, okay, here's a list.
That's me.
Hey, here's a list of soccer cartoons. Start watching these cartoons with your son, and you'll see. There was a time that actually my older son, when he was in the terrible 2s, almost 3. Maybe I was. Yes, I was honestly. I think I was pushing him a little too much. And I was receiving it back, like because he's very disagreeable. So I was pushing him a little too much, and so he was like, "I don't want to play soccer." And obviously, I don't want to force him. You want to push him, but you don't want to force him. And I was like, okay.
I'm gonna brainwash you.
kind of, but no. I mean, obviously, we are the parents. We can control the environment.
Of course, yeah. Better for them to watch that.
Let's watch this cartoon. So what are we gonna watch?
Which one was it?
It's like Super Campeones. We start watching cartoons, and it's like start looking. And he's not really into. I mean, he watches TV, but we avoid as much as possible to have them on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
So he will watch for like 10 minutes. And it's like, Dad, you want to play soccer? That's how it is.
Really?
Like, yeah. Like when I want him to play soccer, I put him to watch. And he doesn't want to do it. It's like, hey, let's play soccer a little bit. No, I don't want to do that. Nice. Okay, let's watch TV then. Okay. What are we going to watch? Let's watch these soccer cartoons. And they start watching for 5 minutes. It's like, Daddy, let's play soccer.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's like it's funny. Little tricks I tell the parents, like, hey, do this. It's working. It's gonna work.
That's
yeah,
funny.
And there's like a list. I'll send you that.
Yeah,
you wanna try it?
Have you seen Blue Lock?
I seen some videos. Yeah,
you should watch it. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's the most recent soccer one that I've been watching.
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard the premise of the story? I think it's like after Japan lost to Germany. They created a project to create the best forwards. Yes. So they take the 100 best high schoolers and they put them in a building, and then they divide them by ranks, and then they have games and competitions, and then players get eliminated. And
yeah, I seen like clips. I have seen highlights. Yeah, it seems very interesting. Where do you watch it?
I'll send you a link. It's a website that shows a lot of the animes.
Okay.
But yeah, and it'll probably be in subtitles too. But it's really good because there's that one center mid, and that's the center attacking mid who's the main character. Mm-hmm. But then he starts getting to know his teammates, and there's this one guy with long hair who's really fast, but he tore ACL, so he's kind of like scared. He doesn't want to go full force, but he gets put in a situation where he has to beat the guy. And it's like those little situations. There's a guy that shoots, and the player talks a lot about how he can smell the goal depending on what position he's in. And what that means is like he sees a player running and he smells the goal, as in like, okay, if I give it to him here and then I get here, then I can shoot. And then he's kind of like putting the puzzle in head.
Yeah.
And how all these players have different personalities, and it's nice. I found it to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, I heard about it. I tried to like find clips and stuff like that. I watched some clips, but it's like I still haven't had the chance to actually watch an episode. Or I will sit over there with Oliver, and he'll probably watch it. He'll like it.
Yeah, you'll send me the list, and I'll send you the link.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, we've been on for almost an hour and a half.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
An hour and a half has gone by pretty fast, doesn't it? If you had to give some advice to a person who wanted to be a coach, who didn't know how to get into it, what advice would you give them?
Well, honestly, I think there's a big market for coaching. I think, like, especially now that the Women's World Cup and Copa America, and then
it's gonna inspire a lot of people to play.
It's gonna push a lot of people to play soccer.
And with more players, we need more coaches.
So I will say, if you really, really wanna be a coach, just pick up some. Ask someone, hey, can I be your assistant coach? He might not need it. Yes, but anyone who's willing to volunteer for free and help you, it's gonna be welcome.
Yeah, and you're gonna get it back, because the soccer community here it's big, but it's small.
Yes,
and everyone knows everyone.
Yes, that's one of the things I noticed. I noticed kind of that when I was playing soccer, like everyone knew everyone.
Because we've all grown up playing with each other, or we've all been coached by the same people.
Yes. So, and now that I'm coach, it's the same thing. Like everyone knows everyone. The
parents played against each other, and now they're taking their kids to play.
Yes, yeah. That's the same thing. Like most of the kids that I coach, like the very, very young ones, pre-academy, they are like, the parents are people I used to play with. That by coincidence we have the same age kids, so it's like it's fun. It's like, oh, it's like I used to play. You have a kid? Yeah, I have a kid. He's
how
4.
Old is he? He's 4, 5.
Yeah. Come over here. Yeah, bring over here. Yeah. That's how basically.
That's what I'm about
got to know this. Yeah. So yeah, if for someone new who wanted to go into coaching, yes, I mean there's a lot of coaches over there that need help. Now. I mean, obviously, a lot of people who coach have full-time jobs. They're not in here. They're not in it for the money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're like
there's a few that only coach.
Yeah, there are a few that only coach. Yes, but the majority is not in it for the money. And you come over there, you offer yourself to help, and be their assistant, and volunteer. I think everyone will be like, sure, free assistance. Hey, come over here. They'll help you, especially with little kids.
Yeah, keep them kids busy.
Yeah. But yeah, that will be my advice for everyone who wants to start as a coach. Just start as a volunteer, learn a little bit. Eventually, when you see an opportunity, just take it. Doesn't matter. It's like the worst team, or you have to, kids never play soccer. I mean, because that's not happening. There's a lot of people that.
Or they start late. They start at 9.
Yes. So there's a lot of people that's like, well, I just want to coach all the kids. But you want to be a coach, right? And they will. It's like, yeah, I want to be a coach. But then like, here's some kids, that you can coach. Little kids, like, I don't have patience for the little kids. You can be picky, It's like, if you really, really want to coach, and you want to build some experience, just volunteer and take what you get.
Yeah, because you said it best. You have learned from coaching the older ones, and that's helped you coach the younger ones, and coaching the younger ones have helped you coach the bigger ones. So I feel like if you're not coaching both ends, you're kind of missing out on an opportunity to learn a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I mean, to each his own. To each his own. There is no wrong way to go.
No, I mean, there's like, there will be coaches that prefer specific groups, and that's fine. I'll say that you, like, the ones who really, really love to coach, they'll coach all ages. And like I said, most academies, you'll see like coaches there's a reason they're coaching competitive and academy. I don't know, they force them. I don't know, it's their choice. But I mean, most of them, they actually coach both. And I think it makes you a better coach. But yeah, most of the coaches I know, they love it. I mean, they're in it for they're not in it for the money. Yeah, they love the game. They want to influence the soccer culture, and it's just rewarding. Like I was talking with some other I have some assistant coaches. They just helping me. They used to play college, and then now they really want to, so they're helping me, mini allies, and like I told them about this tournament I had South Lakes last week, and it's like, hey, if you want, you don't have to, but you want, you can come over here and just help me, observe, shadow me, whatever. And they did it. They spent the whole weekend.
Really, the whole summer?
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. It was a weekend.
Oh, the weekend.
They spent the whole weekend helping me, and so you can tell they really wanna, they wanna, really become coaches. And I was telling them, it's so rewarding. It's like, do you see that girl over there? Celtic. 8 months ago, she did not know how to kick the ball. And look at her. She's the best player right now. That's very rewarding. When you actually.
And then what comes after that? When they sign with the college team and continue playing.
It's like you at least know that you help them a little bit.
Influence a little bit.
Yeah, you influence them a little bit. So that's the most rewarding thing, I think. I don't expect to coach my boy forever. If anything, I will just keep him the first couple of years, and after that, hey, you coaches can fight for this team, because this team is gonna be dominating their division until they graduate.
So then, let me ask you this: what will you do if, like, you stop coaching your kid, take him to go play at a new team, and then run into a coach that you just don't like the way they coach? Like, because there's that talk of like, what would you do?
So me personally, I truly believe that kids should change coaches, because every coach is different. They have different insights into the games and experiences. We got coaches from Brazil, from UK, Africa. So I think it's good for the kid. as a coach, you want the kid to be well-rounded. Basically, you want them to be able to be good defensively and attacking and being able to play in each position, even if they're not going to end it up. Let's say if you have a forward, even if it's a forward, it's a natural forward, and he might end it up once he start playing a competitive. That's going to be his set position. In academy, you want to play every position, so he can at least understand how each position works. That will make him a better player. So you want them to be a well-rounded player, to be able to have some defensive skills, so he can get that pressure and get that ball, and it will be easier for them to score. So them being exposed to different styles of coaches, I think is good for them. Because, like, for example, my son, I'm not going to be his coach his whole life. Eventually,
you'll have to pass the torch to somebody else.
He'll have to go to someone, a different coach, competitive, I don't know, college, whatever it is that he goes. So I think keeping them for too many years I don't think it's good for them. They need to experience different styles of coaches, deal with it. There will be coaches that are more strict, that they might play different formations. They have to learn. So for me, if there's a coach that they maybe I don't agree with their style, I might just have to sit back and just observe, and in a way, maybe wait for the whole season. You have to learn. I'm sorry. I mean, this is your coach for this season.
You might have to teach your son how to deal with the situation, and then when the time comes when you can move, go ahead and move. You might go to a college where you get to play with the coach,
Yeah, you never know that. I think it's good for them to experience all environments and scenarios so they can deal. They will be. Here's a little more. I will say here's a little more. There's more protection to the kids, but if you see, if you have seen some documentaries from Netflix and other places, it's rough. Like so competitive. Coaches are so rough in Europe, South America. I myself, have some coaches like that, but you have to learn. You have to deal with it. You know who's your coach going to be if you become a professional soccer player or and you go to college, and you can see, professional players, like, they don't get along with the coach, they just move. And there are like coaches that just make it work. There are players that make it work, and they eventually, they earn the position, and, they they become better players. Now they're more well-rounded players because now they say they started to play. For example, I know you've seen some of the documentaries, but a lot of players, when they go to Barcelona, because they have a specific style of play, it takes a lot. Some players to adapt. Some make it, some don't.
Good players too.
Yeah, good players, like real players. Like if you hear Henry, it's like he had a hard time, adjusting to that style, understanding, yeah. And
Pep knows what he's doing.
He respected the coach and he stuck with it, and he became a better player. It's the same thing for the kids. I think they need to be exposed to different styles of coaching, and I still haven't seen like someone's like, oh man, this is a horrible coach, I shouldn't be leaving my coach. No, I haven't seen that. But that's also the main reason I started coaching, so I can kind of like filter the good coaches from the bad coaches to the K coaches. If at some point, maybe the only way I might step a little bit if they get put with a coach that is very, very inexperienced, maybe, If I see they might not know what they're doing, that will be maybe, I will maybe step and, and
It seems like only if it's like dire
it's very
emergency.
extreme. Yes, they're very extreme, but I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
If it's, there might be some tough coaches, like maybe they give a lot of tough love, hey, he needs to learn, the boys need to learn. I tell the parents, like, look, some coaches are very tough, so they need to learn to be disciplined. They can't be goofing around so much. It's okay to have fun. They can be causing trouble or for us, the coaches, I think I speak for most everyone. The main thing that we look is the kids' attitude and behavior and how coachable they are, because they can be like that girl that I told you that she was one of the newest players. She never played soccer before, but after the first week, I realized, okay, this girl is very
She's
smart.
Gonna get it fast. She's coachable.
She actually, I teach her a couple times, and she actually trying it, and you can see. And then she's putting the extra work coming for the extra practices on Wednesday. Then she doesn't have to, and so I knew like she was gonna get better. And at the end of the season, she was the best player in the team.
Wow.
And I'm pretty sure she's gonna get even better. You know, and I keep moving up. So that's like that's what the coaches prefer, because there will be a really good player, but man, he's causing troubles. He's late. He doesn't have discipline, like you said. Like some boys specifically, they think they're really good, and they're not humble. They're not gonna learn. Hard work is always gonna beat skill. That's my opinion.
What does it say? Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, for I think. I think the players, they need to be exposed to different coaches' styles. They need to learn how to deal with those, I guess you can say, personalities. The same way they need to learn how to deal with different personalities, teammates.
It's life. Yeah. You might have a boss that you aren't going to like.
Exactly.
You're going to have to learn how to work with it.
Yes.
You can't you can just switch jobs, but sometimes you just have to work with it.
Sometimes you can't. Imagine if you are you're making X amount of money in this position, and then you could be changing jobs. You can just quit.
Not if you have kids in the family.
Exactly. If you have kids in the family, you can't do that. So you have to learn, and that's another thing. So there's one of the things that I learned with this professor, Jordan Peterson, and he's a psychologist, and
it's a great psychologist.
Yeah. So one of the things he said, there's one of the key factors for a person's success is social skills, and specifically in kids. If a kid has really good social skills, by the time they are 5. The chances for that kid to be very successful are very high, because what that's going to happen is other kids are going to want to play with him, and other adults might want to start investing in him. So as a kid, they as a parent, you want your kid to be likable by everyone, by other kids and adults. Those are the kids that are going to be. They're gonna get a lot of opportunities because everyone's gonna want to work with them.
Gonna want to invest in you.
Yes.
Gonna want to coach you. Gonna want to be around you.
Yes, and it makes a big difference. And everything comes with. Imagine there's a coach that is really really good, or a soccer player. It's true, but social skills, he doesn't get along with the other players,
That'll hurt you.
It will hurt you, that's not gonna work, There's a lot of other players, there's a lot of other coaches that they can hire, So the social skills, it's very important, being a good person, being good terms with everyone, good networking. That's what's gonna
make a difference
and help you in the long way. For kids, it's no difference. You have to be likable by other kids. They have to be likable by adults. So kids can play with them, so they can make friends, and adults so they can actually invest in them, give them opportunities. I I like to watch a lot of documentaries and biographies of professional soccer players.
Of what, Brazilian soccer players?
Brazilians, any sort of
Okay.
professional soccer player, to kind of see how they're, because they tell you about how their life started, and you can see how they ended. Like how, and you can see some players like they just really like work so hard, like Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, and players that, man, they're awesome, and I wish they would be more more disciplined, like
Like
Messi, like Neymar, like Ronaldinho. It's like, man, it's like, can you imagine Ronaldinho would have like that?
The discipline of Ronaldo.
Ronaldo, oh my God, there will be no discussion who will be the GOAT.
And there's a lot of players where you're just like, I wish Adriano had that kind of discipline.
Yes, like I myself, like, so when I was growing up in Peru, I used to play with the boy who played for the U15 national team. He was cool. He was awesome. He was like, honestly, this kid, he was like, what I remember is like, you mentioned Super Campeones. He was those kids like, oh, you see that tree?
Boom.
I'm gonna hit it, turn around and do a bicycle kick, and he will do it. That's like one of the, I think one of the best kids I had played. He played for the U15, so good. But his attitude, man, he got subbed one game, and then he started arguing with the coach. Man, after that, a lot of doors closed to him. No one, doesn't matter how good he was. No one wanted to work with him, and that's sad. And there's all the players I remember that was like so good. Also, that was it was to national the school's district. He was kind of like nominated like one of the best players, in Lima, but he was so undisciplined. He would party too much, so it was a wasted talent. He couldn't be like, I was like, man, these guys couldn't be go really far, but it's just the lack of of discipline and social skills like that what killed them.
The controllables, they say control the controllables, and that's definitely something they could have controlled.
I mean, and it all comes down to the parents.
The first 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years. That's what it is. And who knows? I mean, some of the parents like might enable that behavior. Like to the point that you were asking. Like, let's say, okay, Oliver. He gets a coach that maybe he doesn't like, and I pull him, and then I put him to another coach, and then he liked that one. Okay, he stays with that one, and then next year he plays with another coach, and he doesn't like that one, that third one. I pull him. What am I teaching him? It's like, I mean, he needs to learn. Like, okay,
at some point you have to start asking yourself, it might not be the coaches, it might be me.
Exactly. Yes. It's like, why is the reason, like, so what is the reason? I mean, I remember there's this person who used to say, man, I always get bad bosses. It's like, it's like they always give me trouble, blah, blah, blah. It's like,
all of them?
It's like,
but all of them?
Do you think maybe, just maybe, you are the problem? Maybe. Maybe you have to change your behavior a little bit. At the end of the day, we cannot control the environment. No. We can only control our behavior. So it's like, well, it's like maybe you have to try something else,
That's fun.
But yeah, it's very interesting. It's very interesting to see all different kinds of coaches, and different styles, but yeah, I mean, these kids, I told them, the parents, look, I mean, they need to learn, they need to be polite. I mean, it's like there's a lot of kids that they don't even say hi, when they're like, come on, man, it's like you have to say hi to the coach.
Yeah, something
even
so
though they're
small,
little,
like
so small, they make a big difference. Yeah, the ones are very friendly, and and the ones that are not causing trouble, they're not disrupting. I mean, the kids could be really good talent, but man, if they're not behaving, oh man, and some parents, they're a little too they overreach too many boundaries too, like okay, like I don't like that coach that is coaching my son. Just leave him over there. Sit back, let him do. He might have a reason. He might be actually be a really good coach. He might actually be trying to teach your son
a lesson
to behave better.
Gotta let the coach.
Yeah, exactly. Let the coach coach. Let's wait until the end of the season and have your kid improve. If the answer is no, well, hey, it was experience. But most coaches most coaches, that at least I have seen, at least like in the academies, they know what they're doing. That is in the best interest for
it to be successful, for it to work out for your kid.
Even if they do it for personal reasons or selfish reasons. The better the kids get, the more recognition the coach get. Like for example, like me, I start coaching. So the methodology of soccer at homes, they talk a lot about soccer environment. Like how the soccer environment affects the kids, and like they were saying that the philosophy is like basically if you want a good player to get better, the answer is not so much of train that good player, is to make the bad players around him better, so they can push him to be better. So they did a lot of, it was something. This was, I think it started like in the 90s, and they started at the same time that Super Campeones started over there. This guy had a show, and you can see how the culture in Japan have changed in regards to soccer. You saw them, how good they were playing, and obviously traveled to Korea, and it's like, so their goal was to make a big pool of good players, so everyone can push each other. And that's how I kind of like, okay, so there's my son who already been kicking the ball since he was 1. By the time he's 3, obviously he's ahead of everyone. How can I challenge him, well, these new kids are joining. I have to make them better. So now they can actually give him a little hard time. And there are some good ones that are like catching out with him. And it's like, and I tell my sons, like, look, your friends, they're getting better.
Is he as competitive as you are?
He is competitive. Okay. He's like, he's getting better. They're getting better, like Thiago, Gio, Benny, they're getting better because they're training a lot at home. So you don't train hard, they're gonna pass you. I tell him. It's like,
what's he say?
It's like, oh, I need to train more then.
It's funny, they talk in that Blue Lock a lot about the egos that soccer players have, and how they have to be, a striker has to have an ego to be the best striker in the world, because just because of that, you don't want people to be better than you. You have to believe that you're the best, and you have to train like it. You have to have that ego, and it's like, hey, they're catching up to you. What are you gonna do? It's like, I gotta work out hard. I want to be the best. Okay.
You have to have that. You have to have that. You have to be competitive. That's one of the key things I noticed when I was watching a lot of documentaries about these soccer players. They are competitive. There's like there's a few clips. I know you might seen. They're called No Day Offs. Have you seen those?
Yeah, I think I have.
Yeah, those kids, it's like the one thing that they all have is that they are super competitive and they are obsessed with soccer.
Obsessed, yes.
They just train. That no one have to just get them up and hey, let's go train.
They
just
train
on their own.
The best athletes in the world, and they find ways to motivate themselves. That's what I found really interesting about the Michael Jordan documentary.
Yeah, so that one,
he was always finding ways to motivate himself.
Yes,
he would take things personal, that things might not be personal. Like somebody, just made a quick comment and he wrote his name down in his head and said, all right, I'm going to use that.
Yeah. I saw that documentary too. It was like very, very interesting. Yeah, they all have the same thing. They have to be competitive. They have to they have to be disciplined.
Have to be crazy.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, at times they have to be crazy. They have to do a lot of sacrifices. Like a lot of these players, they just like there was one interview that I saw Song from the Korean player.
Talking about his dad.
He's talking about his dad and how he's not gonna have a girlfriend
until after his career's over, because it'll take his mind off of it.
Yeah, like I heard the same thing from Zidane when he was younger. Like I remember, I think he was in Juventus. The coach was saying like, while any other players were having girlfriends and going to parties, he was just training. And it's like it's the same thing. It's like all these players, Cristiano Ronaldo. Like a lot of players, even Messi, even the people say like Messi's a genius. It's like I'm pretty sure he
just
trains a lot.
He just doesn't post himself training.
Yeah, yes, he just doesn't post it. But
he can't be that good. He can't. I mean, who knows? Have you seen the videos of him as a kid?
Yeah, but like for example, like I was like reading some of his autobiographies, and yes, he had 2 older brothers, and he the same thing. He was playing at home. He was playing from the moment he was like walking too, with his brothers. He didn't came out and and play in a game until the grandma brought him and everything. And by that time, he was already playing with the older
he already
brothers.
had the fundamentals and everything.
Yeah, so he already had that. It's like they have. And then after that, I don't know if he would have become that good, because yes, he had the dribbling skills.
If it wasn't for Barcelona coming in.
Barcelona, learning how to move without the ball, and spacing and all this stuff.
Playing Ronaldinho,
with Xavi, Iniesta, Pep Guardiola. All these. Yeah, so it's. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if he wouldn't been that good if he wouldn't end up.
If it wasn't for the circumstances.
Yeah,
definitely.
And I think everyone.
The stars aligned for that guy, huh?
It like what's that saying? Luck is when
what is it? Opportunity
meets preparation. Yeah.
See.
So it's the same thing. He was preparing. He was playing. He was training. You had to train. You never know. Well, not here. I don't think they have it here. But even Rocos, so. He's from Stillwater. Mm-hmm. It's like a small town. Not a lot of soccer going on. And then when he was 11, he had to. Basically, he was traveling an hour to play at OFC. And then in OFC, in one of the tournaments, some of the scouts saw him playing in the tournament, and he got offered to play at either Sporting Kansas or FC Dallas. He opted for Kansas, and then after that, they keep seeing him. He went to Barcelona Academy in Arizona, and after that, he was called to play the U15 in Europe, and that's what the current club that he's playing right now in Croatia saw him. So you never know at what point someone will be watching you. Yeah, mm-hmm. So you have to just keep training. I remember he was kind of like. I'll say he was kind of like down, when I asked him, hey man, you're not getting called for something. Well, I didn't get invited. Yeah, I was like, you know what, you're good, man. You're still young. He's only 18. Mm-hmm. You just keep working, and they didn't want to let him play in the World Cup because
I'd seen that because he was so close to winning the championship with his team, so his team didn't want to let him go.
Yeah, but hey. He won. Now he can go.
I heard that as soon as he won, he jetted to go play with the under-20s.
Yes, and he's 18. Mm-hmm. Like he's playing with under-20s, so he's probably one of the youngest over there. So yeah, he have a bright future. And this is a kid from Stillwater, and that's what I use. Like I use Rocas as an example. Like, look,
anything can happen.
You can do it. Anyone can make it if they put the work. You kids, especially if you have parents, that support you, coaches. And that's the difference. He had to put some sacrifice because he was driving an hour to go to OFC from Stillwater, to train twice a week. Then you have to, from Stillwater, you basically have to go to Dallas to play in those tournaments. No, Kansas. He had to move to Kansas.
Oh, he had to move to Kansas.
He moved to Kansas when he was 13. Like it was. I remember. Sacrifice. Yes, sacrifice. Like I asked. Mindy, that's his dad. And it's like, so how did your wife took it? Oh, my wife didn't want. Yeah. So it's like that's another thing. It's like, so I finally convinced my wife. He moved to Kansas, and we will visit him. But it's a sacrifice from the parents, So he was living like some of the few people that live in Europe. That's how basically Europe is, Yeah, you just at 13, you want to be a professional player, you have to go.
And I think it works out for him because he has he can play almost as a European because of his...
And also his dad understood that, you know, like his dad, you know, he's from Europe, so he knows. It's like, okay, he wants to be a soccer player, professional soccer player. You're gonna move. There's no MLS academy in Oklahoma, so he's okay, either Dallas or Sporting Kansas, you know, and so everything worked out for him, but he had to put that sacrifice. So some of the kids I coach, I tell them, look, this kid did it because he put the work, because he had the heart to do it, and he put the sacrifice. You know, he sacrificed a lot. You know, instead of hanging out with their friends and parties, he was actually moving away from his family when he was 13. You know, I tell my wife, like, what if, you know, Oliver gets scouted and he gets invited?
Is that what you ask her? What would you do? Would you let him go?
Last like, no, we're moving.
Yeah, that's what you do. Or she says,
she's like, what? She's moving, and that's one of the things actually that I'm working on. That's what I like to do, also real estate, because I feel like that allows me to create some passive income to eventually replace my income and give me mobility, freedom to actually move around. If I have enough rentals, I can do things like, you know, like take a whole month and a half off to be at the World Cup. You know, one of the things honestly, that's what I'm trying. Okay. That's what I'm trying. I still have a few years, so I'm working on that. I really want to spend. I mean, you only got one chance. I mean, it's gonna be here in the United States.
Often, you know.
Yes, I mean, I want to have my kids. I want to really.
There's never gonna be a chance to get to have that type of World Cup with your kids at that age.
And it will be more affordable to do it here than going to other places.
Definitely.
So I'm working. I already told my wife, look, for when the World Cup is here, I'm not gonna work for those months.
I've been preparing my wife for that for 4 years.
I will go to the World Cup, you know, and you'll see like how like that's when they're gonna see how big is soccer in the world. And after that, I even told him, like, after that point, after the World Cup, if at that point we have enough passing income, I would like to travel and take homeschool Oliver and Gabriel. You know, I would like to live 6 months in a specific country where soccer is big, and then maybe come 6 months Oklahoma just to kind of like chill with the family, decompress, and then next year to, like, let's say Spain, yeah. So 6 months to Spain, and 6 months to Argentina. But yeah, so that's when you were asking me what I look into my future. It's like, I don't know how that's gonna work with coaching, but I might figure it out.
That's beautiful though.
But yeah, I want my kids to fall in love with soccer, and the culture is growing here. Yeah, but it's not gonna be. It's not compared with France, Argentina, Brazil. You know, the Netherlands, Germany. It's like it's not gonna. Spain. It's like it's gonna be wow. This is what is soccer. You know, like in Peru. When we went to Peru, I went to Peru with my wife in 2017. So Peru was playing Colombia in the qualifiers, and that was that week. And I tried to go. I mean, the tickets got sold out in 5 minutes. It's like, oh my god. Okay, so it got sold out in 5 minutes. Pretty much every store shut down.
And if they're open, they're playing on TV.
They qualified that game. I think they tied, and that
was enough for them to qualify for the World Cup.
They closed. They made party the next day.
Yeah.
Those kind of things you can see it in Oklahoma. No. So I want them to experience, like what the atmosphere is like, being able to like really just go anywhere and you see kids playing soccer everywhere. One of the things I noticed, like when I moved to Oklahoma, it's like, for one, it's like, man,
besides the fact that we have to drive everywhere, we're not really walking, so there's not that many parks.
Yeah, and then when I went, so first I went to Edmond. I was living in Edmond, and I saw this.
Keep going.
Beautiful soccer fields, and I was like in my head, I was like, why is no one playing here? These fields are beautiful. Now at that time they weren't locked up, but there's like, why are they not playing? No one's playing here. What's going on? There's grass. I used to play like in dirt over there, like so. But yeah, it's like that's one of the things. That's why I try to have the environment, as much as possible. I try to do. I used to do a lot of like soccer play dates, like invite some friends, have little kids. Hey, let's have them. No coaching, just have them play.
I love that.
And like have cartoons, stuff.
You're slowly brainwashing the kids to fall in love with the game.
We can control the environment. We are the parents at least until certain age. We can. We are the environment.
You're in your right.
After that foundation is there, if at some point he says, you know what, Dad, I don't want to play soccer anymore, I mean, I'll have to take it.
We'll figure it out when we get there. Yeah. Let's not think about that, though. No. If it comes, it comes. But for now, let's not even focus on that.
Yeah, no. And I don't think, like I said, I mean, if you're good at something, you're not going to stop doing it.
No.
So that's the main
philosophy.
That philosophy, even behind Soccer Allies, keep the players playing longer.
Mm-hmm.
So,
because even if they do stop playing soccer, like what they would have learned facing all those challenges and everything like that, is just gonna build a good human being. All the values you get, even from playing any sport, that means a lot, and it's much rather than be doing that than any other sport. So
yeah. Like me, even if he decides, I mean, he likes to do little martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
He at some point like, you know what, I like more martial arts. Okay, that's fine. The one thing that I might not let him not do is like sports. Like it's like, okay, I don't want to play soccer. Okay, what sport are you gonna play now? Then I'm not gonna be sitting being couch potato.
Yeah.
It's like you gotta play sport. You gotta be something. Sport is really good. It doesn't matter. I mean,
maybe not football, but yeah. Kidding.
Any sports that he like, as long as he's doing something. I mean, I'm very happy that he's doing soccer, and and he's a little jealous, like any other kids.
Mm-hmm.
They're jealous. So sometimes I'm playing with the little one. Soccer is like, I want to play. It's like, I already train with you like for an hour. Let me train the little one.
Mm-hmm.
No, I want to keep more
attention.
Training.
How was your attention?
Yeah, so that's good. So they want, actually, that's good because we still have we're a big influence in them, and that's why I tell all the parents, like, just have them play.
Be patient.
Push them. I mean, you don't have to force them. Let's play. It's like you don't have to be a surgeon and make them do drills. Just make it fun. Like play with this. Like, look, just kick the ball to his feet. What's he gonna do? He's gonna kick it back.
I think the best way you say it is to play, practice, play. You play, but like in the playing, you kind of practice, but you're really trying to make it seem like you're playing.
Yes. So a lot of times, like when some new kids comes to the groups, either mini allies or my own personal group, pre-academy, and they don't want to play. They're too shy, or they're over there. It's like, hey, look, there's a new friend, and I tell all the kids already been playing. It's like, go over there, tell them. Hey, come play with us. Invite them. So that's the main thing. If they feel welcome, if they feel all the kids want to play with you,
it's gonna be much easier.
It's gonna be much easier for them to assimilate everything and actually wanting to play. I mean, but yeah, you just want to keep it fun, friendly. Good relationships with other kids. But that's the main thing. I mean, I want. You say brainwashing, but yeah, I mean, I want. Hey, if after I took you to the World Cup, and we traveled for the next 4 years to all these countries, that soccer is live.
Mm-hmm. And if at that point you don't want to play soccer,
okay, I'll take it, but I'll do my best for you to fall in love with soccer.
Nice.
And I think he enjoyed it. Now all of a sudden, it's funny because sometimes I coach like those days, long days, being gone all day from like 6 a.m. till 9 at night, and I'm just sitting over there, like, hey, finally. And then he's like, Daddy, let's play soccer.
It's my turn now.
Yes, like, how can I not say no? I'm too tired. I can't, because this is what you wish your kid that wanted to play soccer. It's like, so I get out, like with I'm all sore. It's like, okay, let's play. Mm-hmm. And it's like, yeah, we play for 30 minutes. Okay, it's 9:30. It's time for you to go to sleep. but that's that. I mean, I can't complain. Yeah. I mean, it's you have. I almost like every time that he wants to play soccer, I can't say no. That's the positive reinforcement that I do with him. It's like, you want to play soccer? I'm all up. I'm open for you. Let's do it. Let's play soccer. You know, I'm always available for him when he wants to do it. You know, the same thing is like as much as I love playing soccer, if he have a game,
I'd much rather watch him play.
I just rather watch him play or go to his practice. You know, but yeah, it's the same thing. It's like so he started at Rice Academy.
Mm-hmm. It's a great academy too.
Yeah, it's a great academy, and he made a little friends over there. You know, some of them are gonna actually follow me to Edmond Soccer Club, and but it's on a Sunday. That means there's not really soccer for me on Sundays. Even if I want to pick a game, it's like right in the middle of Sunday. It's like, okay, it's all right.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I have my time. It's his time now. He wants to do it. And there's some times because it's difficult because he's like my friends. You know, like yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah,
he's gonna be a part of the culture now, of the Oklahoma City culture.
Yeah. That's the main thing. I'm trying to
mold
almost
him.
like artificially create a soccer culture around him. So it's like, hey, there's always at my house. You go to my house, you're always gonna see soccer balls and books. There's some toys, but like
that's the thing. Cartoons or on TV.
Cartoons, like, what do you want to watch? It's like, let's watch. Okay, you want to watch TV? Let's watch some
soccer
cartoons.
We got Super Campeones. We got Goal 1, Goal 2. Yeah. Pick one. That's all you got right now.
Yeah. It's like he's like, okay, let's watch Super Campeones or stuff. It's like, okay, funny. That's what you pick. Okay,
let's go.
Yeah, so that's what I do with him. I told the parents. I always tell them all these little tricks. It's like, hey, that's how you get them to be interested into soccer.
Because you must get a lot of people that ask you, how'd you do it with your kid?
Yeah, how do you how you doing this? It's like, well, first get this size 1 soccer ball. 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. It doesn't have to be straight 5 minutes. You can be 2 and 1 minute. But just have them do it. Do it with him. Make a little competition. It's like, okay, who can do more? Can you do 10? Like, okay, what's the new record? Okay, just make it fun. Obviously the environment. Depending on where you bring them, I mean, that could also make a big difference. Like I try the environment I have for the kids to be very friendly, to be polite. If they hurt each other, hey, check on your friend. Is he okay? Oh, he scored a goal. Okay, high five. I don't let them, in a way, I don't let any of the kids, the younger ones, throw a tantrum because they're competitive. I remember even Oliver, he would play with me when he was 3, and every time I would score a goal on his goal, he got mad. It's like, hey, this is a perfect opportunity, to teach them, hey, how to be a good loser. It's okay to be competitive, but you can't. You have to check my hands. Say, good job. I'll get you next time. He learned it, and they're still competitive. It's funny because they're like 4 and 5, and they're playing like a mini allies. I do the practices, and at the end, always finish it with a little scrimmage. They keep score. It's like, that's funny. No, you're 4. No, you score only 4. We're 5. We're winning. It's like, they're 4. Yeah. It's like, man.
It's funny to watch. My kids race to see who's going to get to the car. Whenever we go somewhere, we come back, it's always I win. But my son's always a little bit faster than my daughter, so sometimes I'm like, look, you got to let her win sometimes. Yes,
and that's another thing, yeah. But yeah, it's like the environment, it's very friendly. Have them watch cartoons. It's like... Most coaches that work with little kids, they are good with kids. Otherwise, they wouldn't be coaching kids. Otherwise, but yeah, that's the main thing. Yes, I created a little artificial environment for my son, both my sons now. Yeah, the second one is so easy. Like, he just grew up seeing his brother playing and me coaching.
He's a product.
He's actually ready. Like he's like. We asked him, like, he's 2. He's like, you ready to have a team? He's like, yes, I want to have a team. His personality is a little different. Yeah, Oliver is more shy, more reserved. The other one is super outgoing. He just go. Doesn't matter. He'll play. Actually, he will play passing with the older siblings of Like so there's a kid. It's called Benny. He's 5. He got 2 older siblings. They're twins. They're like 8 or 7, and
he'll play with them
while
they're practicing.
Yeah. Outside, you just keep the ball with them and pass the ball. Stuff like that. It's funny because like when we have the practice, we're gonna go. It's like, okay, Oliver, okay, Gabriel, let's get ready. We gotta go. And he's like, Gabriel, 2 years old. He's like, are we gonna practice with my friends? It's like, who's your friend? Skylar and Landon. So in his mind, those are his friends. He's practicing with them.
Yeah, he's going to practice too.
So he's I didn't even have to do anything with him. He just do it. Yeah, but yeah, it's always harder with the older one. The younger ones, they just
follow suit.
They just follows. Yeah, I'm gonna in the fall. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start them already. Edmond Soccer Club in the rec. So Edmond Soccer Club. There's a age group. The early one is called Team for Tots, and if you sign up, you're one of the first 200, I believe, to sign up. You sign up for free.
Okay.
So that's a good way to start introduce him. So I'm already
signed up.
I mean, it starts in June, but I'm already like, even though he wouldn't have to start until next year. But his birthday is in February.
He's already ready for it.
And I already have boys that are younger brothers of the other kids that I'm coaching.
Are gonna jump in.
They're gonna jump in, and it's gonna be another interesting group because they're already. You can see because the parents are bringing the younger brothers to the the kids are like born in 2018, 2017, and these ones are born in 2020. So they come and they start kicking the ball. They're already being in that environment, so you can see that the younger ones might be better.
Yeah, they're gonna be better.
Yeah, so it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting. Yeah, and also it's gonna be. I want to see how I do with this because I haven't coached that young group since Oliver, so 2 years ago. So I want to see how I do now. I mean, before I was struggling a little bit
with
learning.
Experience.
Yeah, with experience. Yes,
now.
Yeah.
The philosophy.
Yeah, let's see. It's gonna be fun. It's like, yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see.
Nice. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing it, and I've learned a lot.
Your daughter is 2020.
2019. So she's 2019 of April. So she's a little bit too old.
Okay.
But she might be ready to play with the 2018s. I don't know. My son is a 2017, but he's born in November, so he can't play with the 18s.
Okay.
We'll talk about that later.
Just bring him, man. Just bring him a little bit.
I'm gonna start the brainwashing.
Start with the cartoons, man.
Yeah.
Start with the cartoons, and that. I mean, it might get him going. It's like,
hopefully, God willing, that's the plan.
He's still young.
Project Mbappe.
Yeah. I mean, I noticed that like behind every, I'm serious. Behind
Serena
every
Williams,
single
player,
good professional athlete,
Tiger Woods.
There's a parent.
There's the Tiger Woods documentary that talked about his dad.
Oh yeah.
And how his dad would have him basically hitting the ball at like 3-4 years old.
There you go.
In the garage, just against.
Where is it on Netflix? Or?
I don't know where I had seen it, but his dad played the biggest influence in him.
Yeah, parents are the biggest influence in the kids, especially in the early ages, and especially they already set that foundation. And when they're younger, when they start at home, when by the time they're 5, 6, okay. The foundation. It's like that's all they know in their mind. Like when Oliver or Gabriel, any of these kids that they were with me since they were 2 or 3. When you ask them, when did you start playing? I don't know. I always been playing. It's just part of my life. It's like breathing to me. It's like just that's how I, it's like you asking someone like, when do you start talking? It's like, I don't know. Do you think when you're talking?
Do you think about breathing? No.
Yeah, it's like it's natural. So that's, I guess at that point that's what they call it natural, but it's actually the parents' influence.
Nice.
But yeah, they're still young. You can get it. Yeah.
So there's hope.
There's always hope. I mean, that scene, like that girl, I think in Celtic Academy, she was 8. She started playing. And I can tell, I mean, she's going to be a really good player, She's determined, she's serious, You know, she's smart. She's coachable. She's gonna get. She's, at some point, she's already passing the girls that had a year of soccer.
Mm-hmm.
Like they started like she already passed some of the girls that they already had like a year ahead of her. So yeah, she's. There's always hope. There's always hope.
There's always
yeah,
hope.
and if it's, I mean, it's like I said, I don't see, like you said. I mean, you're gonna take your kids to the World Cup.
I have to. I'm not going by myself. No, that my goal is to take the family of 4.
Okay.
We all have to experience that together. All of us. We have to.
I mean, you can't. How can you not
How can I do that by
influenced by that?
Yeah.
You know, like if you see all these people from all these countries basically partying, you know.
It's the only time you won't see.
Yes.
Well, I mean, you probably will see people fighting and getting, but generally everyone's getting together for one thing. You know,
Yes.
it's crazy how the world just stops for the final or whatever it is.
Yeah, I still can't imagine, you know, being in the stadium with, you know, people cheering. And it's like, I mean, like.
See, imagine how we all felt watching Messi win the World Cup from the TV.
Yes.
Like, imagine what it was like on the field. Imagine what it was like in Argentina. Like, and that's just all because of soccer.
Yes, and that's. I mean, that's what kind of like I want, you know, my kids to experience. And you know, I make it almost impossible for them to say like
no.
Yeah, it's like, hey, after we went to these countries and you see how soccer is in Argentina, Brazil, Spain, UK, France, and after you being in the World Cup,
it's gonna put it all together.
Yeah, it's gonna like, it's like, yeah, I'm just waiting until he says, I want to be a professional soccer player.
Yeah, you want that to come out of his mouth?
Okay, let's work. Then I was like, there's no
holding back. That's gonna be different, you, huh?
That might be different. I might turn into songs that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what he said. Like every time he will like in the interview, every time he will say, "Well, I don't want to do this." Well, you're the one who told me you want to be a professional soccer player.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right.
So
I
it's
did
like,
say that to you, huh?
So,
damn it. Okay.
Yes. So it's like, okay.
That's funny, and I bet you're gonna write that when he says that. Let me know, please, because I want to know.
Yeah, it's like, and it's not right now. Even when he's little, it's like sometimes like I don't want to be I don't want to be. I don't want to train anymore. You know, like it's like okay. We don't have to train. But
let's go watch TV.
Let's go watch TV. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I'm like, well, your friends are gonna be training right now. That's why you're getting better, and they're gonna get better than you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you gonna be okay with that?
So he's a little. You have to have that. Yeah. He's a little competitive. So it's like, okay, I wanna train.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, it's so funny. So, but the most important is like, they have to love the sport.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the things that Rocco's dad told me. Like you can invest in them because he has seen it, you know, with all the kids. If you know, you can try to get him coaches and put him in. He can be really good, but if their heart isn't in it, he can't do anything. You know, if their heart is not. So my goal for this age is to really, really love soccer. You know, that's why they're watching cartoons. You know, they're like. They have fun with their friends. They're making friends. You know, that's how I make friends. When I was in Lima, we move a lot, and the only way for me to make new friends in the neighborhood is like to come out to the park with my soccer ball, and then kids will like boom, comes like, let's play. Okay, that's how I make friends. That's the same way. Pretty much all my friends here in Oklahoma, all the people I know, I made them through soccer. You know, going to teams. That's how I mean.
No, I think it's a podcast talking about it.
Yeah, it's yeah. I think that that's how I met you. That's how I'm meeting all these coaches. You know, I want that for. It doesn't matter where. It's like a universal language. You know, you can't. I mean, you can go anywhere. If you have a soccer ball, you make friends.
That's what they say. If you're traveling to another country and if you've never been there, put the soccer jersey on the national team, and
there you go.
You'll make friends easy.
Yeah, you make friends. You know, you'll play with them. They'll connect, you know. And if you're good, they're gonna be popular. Yeah. Right? You're gonna invite you more.
There's that guy from Peru. Bring him in.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. It's like it's gonna be. It's interesting. I mean, I know I'm just dreaming, but it's like, see, I'm kind of like wanted to see how everything turns out with the coaching, with these kids. It's going to be very interesting seeing them.
Yeah, it's funny how you mentioned all that and how you said that they have to have the heart for it. And I can definitely see that you have the heart for this.
Mm-hmm.
The coaching, I guess now has just become a byproduct of you having your heart and wanting to invest in your kids. And this whole time you've been talking about you can't wait to see how your kids are going to be. I'm excited to see how you will end up as a result of all this,
Mm-hmm.
what kind of coach you might end up in 3-4 years just by trying to pour everything into your son. Like, I think it's going to be really interesting.
And I think that's what a lot of the parents keep mentioning. Like, man, it's like, you're so passionate. Like, you're crazy about soccer. It's like, yeah, I'm crazy about soccer.
You're just like, you have no idea. They have no idea.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, and they see that. They see that, I mean, I really, like, I'm passionate about soccer. So, like, my main goal is for these kids to fall in love with the sport.
Yeah.
And this is for this pre-academy and the academy. And
the
the high school, even the girls, like, I mean, it made me happy, like, when some of the new girls who never played soccer before, I think there was one, he's a junior, he's going to be a senior next, she just started playing junior. She's been in track, she's been in tennis, and she's like, and the mom is like, man, soccer is so fun, you made it so fun for her, she's having so much fun, I wish we would have started earlier, or in middle school. It's like, yeah. It's fun. That's the main thing. It's like, it's fun. It's I want them to know that soccer is fun. It's a good exercise. It teaches you a lot of social skills,
a lot of values,
discipline, values. Yes, and it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell them, like, look, even if you don't end up playing college, man, promise that you're still gonna play soccer. Like, for fun, go to the park, play with your friends, go to play indoor kite team, just keep playing soccer. That's the main thing. That's the main thing for me, for the kids to... It
makes the world a better place.
Hey, maybe next time, but I have a theory that soccer can end
the wars.
Yeah.
It does. I mean, it stops them.
Yeah.
For a brief moment in time, it stops them.
It's like, it's something that I've been going interesting. Yeah, sports is something is part of our nature. I feel like there's a reason we need sports.
There's a reason they do the Olympics.
Yeah.
There's a reason the Romans did what they did.
Yes. It's better for like people have that urgency of, in a way, be tribal.
Yes.
Like, so it's better to, get all your competitiveness.
Fight each other with the soccer ball.
Yeah, and the soccer ball, and battling and know who's the better and everything. Especially for males, for men. And at the end, okay,
shake hands,
go home. We'll see you next World Cup. It's like,
it's kind of like those pictures that I don't know if it's World War I or World War II, where they have like the Germans playing soccer against the Americans. Yeah. And I don't know where it is, but there's a picture out there like that, and that just goes to speak about it.
Yeah, in the World War II, yeah. It's like, it's like, yeah, I think sports is very, very important for humanity.
Yeah, I agree.
And soccer being the biggest sport in the world, I think, I mean, you can see, it's like...
It's everywhere. I was watching everywhere. There was a small series during the World Cup where this guy basically traveled around the world and was reporting on all these places that played soccer. And there was one in Peru where he went up into the mountains and met these indigenous women that would play. Mm-hmm. And there was another one where he would go to Brazil and would find these people that would bet, people that would make money playing underground. And that's basically the story, is how soccer was in he went to Argentina and researched about the Church of Maradona and why that was important to them and why some people see Maradona as a god. And he goes into all that. And yeah, it's basically just uncovering soccer all around the world.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's some countries it's like a religion.
It's more than a religion.
Yeah, it's
more than a game.
Yeah, it's for some people there's more than a game. Yeah. Yeah, but definitely, I think the world will be a better place if we all play soccer.
Amen.
Honestly, I think, like, men need that
You need to
that
get it out.
outlet, you know, of competitiveness. You know, you can yell and scream and play as hard as you can, and you know, like, you can kick each other. At the end of the day,
mess to each other.
Yeah, you just you let it out. You can continue for the next of the week. You know, your job, whatever is the stress, you know, that you have. But yeah, they need that. I think it's very, very, very good for the world.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. I think that's a great note to leave the podcast at. Is the world would be a better place with more soccer. That's what we say in the Football Factory, Mas Futbol, because that solves all the problems.
Yeah,
Mas Futbol.
That's this. Yeah, let's
Mas
hope for
podcast.
Mas Futbol here in Oklahoma. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, Cesar, dude, this podcast has been great. I've learned a lot. Hopefully, the listeners are able to pick up just anything off of it. But I think there's a lot of good nuggets for everyone. So I appreciate you for your time, and I'm looking forward to see what you're gonna do, what your kids are gonna do, and for the next podcast that we record. So it'll be good. Thank you.
Really, really appreciate it. I'm a very big fan of your podcast, man.
Oh, now we're friends. So.
There you go.
All right. Well, for the listeners, if you're listening this far, I appreciate you guys for listening to the podcast. The podcast is back, so hopefully there's another episode next week. But Cesar, thank you again for coming onto the podcast. Thank you.